Are you an Enneagram Type 9, or do you know someone that is? Are you feeling stressed and want to experience health and growth? Hey, what's up? This is Evan from EnneagramGift.com, and we're going to talk about an Enneagram 9 and stress. Enneagram 9s, known as the peacemaker, are harmonious, pleasant, and gentle by nature. 9s will attempt to avoid relational problems and solve conflict, sometimes at the expense of their own wants and needs. 9s are willing to adapt to people and environments the best that they can in order to keep the peace. At their best, they can make influential diplomats. However, when lacking self-awareness, they can become passive, allowing life to gradually slip by. They become worried that creating conflict may result in losing connections that are meaningful to them, and therefore will become adaptive or avoid the problem in order to resolve this fear. This type of ongoing behavior can cause a 9 to make considerable compromises, even when it's the exact opposite of what they truly want. For a 9, blending their traits can numb their internal pain, thinking that if they reject their needs, they won't have to confront or deal with them. The health and growth lines of an Enneagram 9 are connected to the 6 and 3, and depending on their level of health, they will begin to take on the characteristics and traits of these types. An Enneagram 9 in stress will begin to take on the unhealthy characteristics of a Type 6. They'll become overcommitted, rigid, and begin to doubt themselves in many aspects of their life, also becoming very reactive to stressful situations. An Enneagram 9 will experience stress if their voice is not heard or requested, if life or environments is fast-paced, if key figures or leadership avoid relationship with them, if there are unresolved issues that are lingering, or if they're forced to make difficult decisions alone. In general, Enneagram 9 struggle with things like procrastination, anger, being independent, and making decisions. In addition to these traits, there are other ways to identify an Enneagram 9 and stress. Unhealthy Enneagram 9s will avoid standing up for themselves and will become incredibly withdrawn as nervousness around social interaction increases. Over time, they'll begin to abandon their own wants and interests, with almost nothing resembling any sense of identity, as they've allowed their own wants and desires to drift further and further away. Unhealthy 9s will give up what they want and quickly concede to the demands of others. This response can result from controlling relationships in the past and cause a general underlying sense of anxiety. The idea of standing up for themselves or exploring their own interests is rarely considered as an actual possibility. When severely troubled, 9s will reduce interaction to avoid possible conflict as much as possible. Any disagreements that arise inevitably lead to more concession, taking them deeper into self-loathing and feelings of inadequacy. The following weaknesses can summarize an Enneagram 9 when they're in a place of stress. When unhealthy, Enneagram 9s become unwilling to fight and stand up for their own wants. If 9s notice a problem or have to confront an issue with someone else, they will hesitate or do all that they can to avoid it. They'll also begin to disregard troubles. For them, addressing complex problems, it seems more straightforward to just simply avoid or ignore the problem rather than dealing with it. They'll also struggle to address conflict. If they want something that will require a challenging scenario, they may never attempt to achieve that goal, which can result in leaving a void within them. Unhealthy Enneagram 9s can also become passive-aggressive. Aware of their own avoidance in addressing conflict, 9s become frustrated with themselves and may take their anger out towards themselves on others by being passive-aggressive. Unhealthy Enneagram 9s completely repress and abandon their own emotions and desires and will become social chameleons in order to adapt to the wants and desires of others, all while ignoring their own interests and wants. The core desire of an Enneagram 9 is peace, and the message they most want to hear is "you matter too." Unhealthy Enneagram 9s assume that it's best to reserve their involvement, becoming numb to their own feelings and needs. What can appear as an easygoing, go-with-the-flow demeanor can often come from a belief that they don't matter. Also, an Enneagram 9 will lower the expectation of themselves in order to avoid disappointment, allowing a false belief that if nothing is important to you, then nothing or no one can let you down. The good news is there's a path for Enneagram 9s to move from stress to places of health. Enneagram 9s can learn to believe that their presence and opinions are important to those around them, and they can also become more assertive. With resilience and intentionality, there are practical things that Enneagram 9s can do to move from places of stress to health. They can begin practicing expressing their opinions with people that they trust and admire. They can adopt new mindsets concerning their worth and value. They can also work to establish accountability with a friend or mentor. They can also prioritize setting goals and establish a structure in order to help them achieve their desires. Healthy Enneagram 9s are willing to develop their sense of self and are willing to fight for themselves. They learn to care for themselves as much as they do for others. They become willing to take control of their own life and are active in decision making. In times of growth, 9s are moving towards self-confidence and accepting of their own existence. Nines can become tremendous leaders because of their ability to create harmonious environments and relationships. They're able to find a common ground between differing opinions. Healthy Enneagram 9s understand that peace does not have to come at the expense of their own wants, needs, and self-worth. And they assume an active stance because they understand that their opinion matters rather than allowing life to carelessly drift by. Hey, don't forget to pick up your free guide in the description to help you identify Enneagram types and stress, plus tips for moving towards health. If this video helped you, be sure to hit the like button and don't forget to subscribe. And let me know in the comments which characteristics and traits you most relate to when you're under stress. This is Evan from EnneagramGift.com. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.